$1 million question: when will payments hit bank accounts? Well, the IRS has not come out and said exactly what they're going to do, but if we look at past relief payments going out, it's first going to go to those with direct deposits, then it's going to trickle down to those needing checks, and those will be sent out in later weeks.
We have a lot of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI and SSDI. Continue watching this video because you don't want to miss out on it. There was a fourth stimulus check, and now the IRS is just warning people that stimulus payments can actually help you guys out. For many Americans, 2022 has been a tough year thanks to high costs and high gas costs. However, on commonly purchased necessities, including groceries, 2023 might look a little bit better for you guys. Because recently the IRS issued a news alert about taxes. In the alert, the IRS said that the potential impact of the absence of stimulus on the current tax year is going to be resulting in 2023 stimulus payments. The IRS stated refunds may be smaller in 2023, and taxpayers might not receive an additional stimulus payment with a 2023 tax refund because there were no federal stimulus for 2022. And since stimulus checks were available in 2021, it allowed millions of people to receive more money back from the government. Taxpayers had to be expecting a similar generous amount refund this year. In fact, it's possible taxpayers may be counting on this to help them catch up on bills, pay down credit card debt that they may have taken on this year, or pay into a savings account if they got these accounts and taken a hit on them. Well, unfortunately, with these stimulus checks, people may get far less than they anticipated, and this could lead to a serious cash shortfall. So as the IRS has made clear, the absence of stimulus checks in 2022 will have real consequences for people who need their tax refund just to pay for necessities and who will likely now face a reduced refund. The Idaho residents also have 3 weeks left to apply for a tax rebate worth up to $300. That's for individual filers and $600 for joint filers. The rebates are thanks to legislation passed and approved by the Idaho State and the governor in September during a special session of the legislature. The office of Governor Brad Little said the rebates seek to provide funding and help people that are struggling with inflation because of the financial relief. State tax authorities began sending out rebates in late September and have plans to send out more payments if additional residents qualify. To qualify for this rebate, state residents must have been full-year residents in both 2020 and 2021 and filed income taxes before December 31st, folks. So residents can receive these rebates via direct deposit or check in your mailbox because even as President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan remains held up in court, Republican lawmakers are just not holding back on criticizing other forms for borrowers. Republicans on the House Education Committee again published a blog post claiming that Biden is just continuing to make false promises to students. This comes after his announcement to forgive $20,000 in student debt for federal borrowers and got blocked 2 times on 2 separate federal courts. The lawmakers wrote that while the broad relief is widely discussed, other policies that Biden has proposed and implemented is likely going to extend the student loan payment pause and reform student repayment programs. It will foot taxpayers with a bill to come. So the group that are against these stimulus checks said that there is no total amount of people to be billed by the American people. They referred to the Biden's new income-driven payment plan as something that borrowers pay no more than 5% of discretionary income and monthly on their undergraduate student loans. So the questions of authority have been widely debated. Biden's broad debt relief plan is blocked in court because the conservative-backed lawsuits argue it was an overreach of authority using the HEROES Act of 2003. It gives the Education Secretary the ability to waive or modify student loan balances in connection with a national emergency like what happened in a crisis. So folks, the Biden administration even expressed concerns with the cost of continued relief and stimulus checks. He noted it in a legal filing that extending student loan repayment pause is not ideal because it would cause a lot more disruptions. But the administration and Democratic lawmakers have made clear that any student debt relief is worth it just to help people out and just to give people the stimulus money that they need. And I agree, folks, President Biden must do more for the people and send out stimulus by the end of the year.
Unfortunately, becomes some sort of cover for, I think, some of the struggles and issues of being effective on the ground for communities like mine. And I know CRA proposed joint rule-making comment period recently closed. The Green Aligning Institute urged regulators to include racial equity, climate resiliency, and assessment areas in their consideration. And so I'm curious, for you, Ms. Gorman, why are these considerations important? Because I know for advocates and folks as part of my housing work group have said CRA isn't working as it was intended. But so including those 3 elements, why do you think that's important right now?
Yes, thank you so much for the question. That we really have learned through our assessment that you don't change what you don't measure, and that you don't address the communities that you hope to involve without actually including them. So being proximate and involving those communities will allow you to create the change and will allow you to call in rather than call out the activities through the CRA. We also believe that the leadership within those, to the point of the chair of executive leadership, management leadership within the banking community will also impact CRA. So we believe that by setting those goals, measuring it, and then revisiting to hold accountability allows us to use CRA as one of the actually.
Sorry, I think if you look at our, maybe the closest economies and political systems would be the countries of Western Europe and Canada. You know, advanced economy countries like that, they're all having the highest inflation they've had in a very long time. Places like Germany, which is famously, you know, inflation averse.
So monthly stimulus payments may be automatically deposited for you. Lawmakers across the nation have officially set up new relief programs. The more stimulus money you can receive right now would greatly help so many people, so I believe President Biden should actually get the job done and send out stimulus checks as soon as possible. Now, the nearly $1 trillion in federal relief sent to U.S. households through 3 stimulus checks is credited with reducing poverty and helping millions of families weather the crisis. But with the crisis still affecting millions of people in the nation, many lawmakers are deciding to take action on this with their own form of stimulus payments. States are tapping into their own stimulus funds to help specific residents, like low-income households of teachers, or even teachers, with direct aid reaching more millions of people this year. According to recent census survey data, about 1 in 4 households across the country struggled to pay the household expenses in the previous week. So in an effort to help Americans from any future recessions, lawmakers in the Senate and the White House are now considering passing automatic checks for the next time the economy takes another significant dip. The Economic Security Project has officially held a discussion with 50 staff members from the Senate Finance Committee on automatic stabilizers. This would tie the issuance of expanded unemployment payments and stimulus checks to the state of the economy, therefore helping many people out. Plus, one economist told CNN putting in place these kinds of triggers would smooth out the recovery and no one is left at the mercy of Washington gridlock in future recessions. So she supports recurring stimulus check. Other lawmakers are considering universal basic income, which is a set of recurring payments that individuals get from the government. These can be paid out every month and several times a year or even just once annually. Democratic Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Pramila Jayapal have introduced legislation that would provide everyone in the country with $2,000 every single month. And that's $1,000 per month for a year. For instance, the ABC Act is going to finance the payments with an unconventional plan that would direct the Treasury Department to use its legal authority to mint as many as 1 trillion platinum coins as necessary to fund the legislation.